All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the late start. All right. Okay, last night's session and U.S. equity markets had a nice bounce up, back up closer to the highs of the day, actually. And you see the NASDAQ there is actually toward the end of the session was testing day's highs. We sold off nicely into the beginning of the session. I think at one point we were down nearly 1% in the S&Ps. We were down 1% in the NASDAQ. I think we were down close to 1% in the S&Ps. NASDAQ made a reasonable move back upward to the end of the day. But either way, it was kind of a bit of a non-event of a finish when it looked like we were starting to get a little bit of volatility creeping back into the market. You kind of starting to feel in the trade action, the markets are getting a little bit impatient. I think people are waiting for. We've had some big runs up. We've had the best month in about 4.5 years in the month of February on the S&P. As well as some of our local markets had a big move. All the European markets have had a big move. So I think some of this may have just been a little bit of profit taking. Guys are starting to just take a couple chips off of the table relative to how hard we've moved, and obviously in the overbought space. Plus markets are at reasonably high valuation. So I think people kind of nervous and need to be some sort of catalyst really to probably push us to the next level higher. We did have crude oil inventories out yesterday, which actually came out. I think crude oil inventories, if I'm not mistaken, were up about 10.5 million barrels. There's so much oil supply right now in the States that they've got nowhere to store it. So we're running, I think, over 100 million barrels higher than the average supply over the last 5 years. So that initially got crude oil kind of spiking down. And then we had Saudi Arabia, which came out and raised its official selling price, whatever that means, and obviously got things kind of moving back the other direction. We started to trade back a little bit to the upside after that came out. We did have ADP private payrolls yesterday as well, pretty much coming out in line. You didn't see a huge move out in treasuries. One thing I think that's important is yesterday you had one of the Fed voting members, Evans, I think he's a St. Louis voting member, came out and said that he was in favor of waiting until 2016 to raise rates. We initially saw treasuries rally and the yields fall to below somewhere around 209. I think they were trading, 2.09%. We've traded right back up to 212, probably within an hour or so after he made those comments. Which, like I said, you keep seeing these this commentary and the different pieces ignored over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks by the Treasury market. Continue to see the Treasuries, even in the face of what should be bullish data for Treasuries, you continue to see them drift back a little bit lower and the yields starting to rise again. So I think that's going to be, like we said, to me it's the most important thing for us to watch right now in global equity markets. We're seeing it in the dollar strength. I mean, we're trading at 110 in the euro. That's the weakest level in like 10 years or something like that. So we're seeing it in the crosses against things like the rand, so we got to continue to watch this. If yields continue to go higher, we're going to see more of the same, I think, in that regard. All right, last night's session, sorry about the funny shape here. Let me see if I can expand this a little bit. You guys can see it maybe just a little bit better. There we go. You can see there that the Shanghai actually got whacked last night. Hang Seng also down about 1%. The rest of the market's more or less flat. I think Japan probably just buoyed simply by the weak yen, but other than that, not a whole lot of leadership in the markets overnight. We were kind of watching and waiting to see how these mining stocks can play out after they've had this big run higher. They started to correct a little bit, but not a significant sell-off yet, and so we're still in wait-and-see mode there. All right, this morning we had tons of earnings out. We've got Exxaro, which came out better than expected on both numbers, and better than expected on the divvy per share. I think you have to take this all with a pinch of salt. I mean, these numbers are all lower. Headline earnings per share lower, divvy per share lower, revenue actually up, but we were expecting bad numbers out of these guys. I think the guidance going forward are the big pieces to these puzzles, so we'll have to wait and see how the market takes it. Sanlam coming out, beating Bloomberg consensus numbers. I think a bit of a worry there is a miss on the divvy. I'm not sure how the market's going to take that. We also had Standard Bank, which is coming out, from what I understand, with minus the once-offs and whatever. It's actually a reasonable number. I don't know why this number is in red here, as this number should definitely be in blue. Sorry about that. You can see that Standard Bank beat on the revenue number, a small miss on the earnings per share number, but a nice beat. I mean, the up the divvy about 12%. I think that's a nice beat. Could be interesting with the market there. Then we've got Rand Merchant Holdings also out. This is the full year expectation was for 228, so the half year numbers are 122. I think that number is solid. We're also looking for, totally uncomparable revenue numbers here, but then pretty much dead in line with the divvy per share. So I think that the headline earnings per share number is solid. Not sure about the rest of it. Later today, we're going to have Aspen, which is coming out with first half numbers, and then we've also got JSE as well. Those numbers at 1 and 1:30. Right. We have in market data today. We've got German factory orders on the open. We've got Halifax house prices out of the UK, Italian GDP at 11, the BOE and ECB announcing interest rate policy at 2 and 2:45, and then we've got initial jobless claims and factory orders out in the States later. All right, let's get into the maps. First thing I want to have a look at here is the US dollar ZAW. This is, I just wanted to show what the territory that we're in at the moment. You can see there, yet last night we closed basically identically to previous closing low on the Rand. Obviously we're looking at this in dollar terms, so this is a high in dollars versus the Rand over multiple years. I think that, this is, to me, I'd like to see it get above, I'd like to see us get above 1186 to see a real breakout here. If we do see it get above 1186, I think we can see a significant breakout, and well up to sort of the 1220, 1230 level, and it's just, we're seeing every bounce in the Rand is to be sold. If we go back and look at let's look at a 5-year chart, you can see, I mean, it doesn't get any more consistent than that. That is just that is a trend, that is trend line support at its best. We've got probably 10, 12, 15 touches on that line on trend support. Never even puts you in doubt for 1 second. Every single time we get back to the trend line, the Rand starts to weaken. So until that breaks, I think you sell the Rand on every single bounce that it has. Timing is crucial, obviously, because of the carry, but that's important. All right. We're going to look at Standard Bank, because Standard Bank has earnings. I know we talked about this a couple days ago. I just want to go back and show 148 and 150, somewhere there. That's our risk range in Standard Bank today. So we see we closed below, obviously, 150 yesterday, right in the middle of that range. We get above 150. I think we could end up seeing a little reversal, maybe worth having a nibble. Obviously, we drop 148, then this thing could be well on its way to lower prices. All right, if we look at Billiton was, sorry, let me just get this thing fitted in here. Billiton has been in a huge uptrend here. We've followed by solid earnings, and we're kind of dropping out. Not kind of. We are dropping out of this uptrend, and only just. So I really think that we need to see this thing get below. Somewhere below maybe 280 or something like that to really give confirmation of a reversal here. But at least would expect us to give maybe half of this move back unless there's further catalysts here. I know we've seen this big dead cat bounce across the mining space. I really don't expect it to last. I don't think the fundamentals are there. You had China out overnight. Their meetings there, setting setting growth targets, around 7%, down from 7.5%, and you saw the Macau numbers, which are down over 50% year on year, that were out, I think, on Tuesday. So really just seeing this massive unwind there in China. I think that continues to weigh on stocks like Billiton's. All right, if we look at SA Brew is getting very close to also breaking out to all-time highs. This thing has been in a perpetual drift higher here. The all-time closing high, I think, was at 669. We obviously within $3 of that. So just watch. We get above that, this thing could really get some momentum to the upside. All right, let's look at Harmony. Harmony dropping below recent consolidation. You can see here we put in a few more or less intraday lows right around 27. A couple closes there. We tried to make a bit of a reversal to the upside. You know, I do like some of these kind of setups here. So it kind of almost looks like we're going to be able to break out of what was looking a little bit it's not exactly a classical flag, sorry, but definitely was looking like we were getting ready to get a bullish reversal. Just turns around straight away and makes a failure here, that level at 27, and closes below it. I think it's important. I think that we can quickly trade down another $2-3 in Harmony. And the last one that we're going to show is on the LSE. So we showed this chart the other day here locally. This is British American Tobacco, and it had broken out of a beautiful inverse head and shoulders here, but you know, when you take the rand out of it, obviously we hadn't broken out yet there. 38 also very clearly breaking up out of resistance. Last night we had a huge finish. This thing was trading the negative. Last hour and a half we reversed by about 1.5%. You know, all of our London traders I think need to have a look at this one this morning. I think we definitely can be looking for a second day play. You can see the reversal here. We're below 37.50 down around 37.40 to make this huge reversal into the close to break out. I think we're going to get a second day play there. I think we've got a big target here to the upside in bets, and just have a quick look at the local listing as well, which we obviously know is breaking out above this level here at 667 with a big target as well, up close to maybe 750. That's it for today, guys. Good luck out there.